Every time I pick up Orwell's 1984, I get this weird mixture of déjà vu and dread. It's wild he wrote it more than 70 years ago, but it's like he peered straight into our digital age. Why do you think this book just refuses to fade away?
It's eerie, isn't it? I think what keeps pulling us back is how Orwell taps into that deep fear of losing control over our privacy, our thoughts, even what's real. The world he built in Oceania feels extreme, but so much of it echoes in our headlines. Mass surveillance, fake news, truth getting twisted. It's almost like a mirror we can't look away from.
Yeah, and that mirror thing really hits home. The idea that history and maybe even reality itself can get rewritten right under our noses. That's the part that lingers with me after I finish the book.
Totally. And it's not just the tech, it's that sense of being watched, judged, and shaped by forces you can't see. I mean, the party's telescreens back then are smartphones now. It's a chilling parallel. And it's why people keep coming back to 1984 to make sense of the world around them.
Thinking about power and propaganda, I can't help but picture Winston at his desk, editing yesterday's news, making the past fit whatever the party says today. That act feels almost surgical, like reality is just clay in their hands.
Exactly, and it's terrifying because it's so methodical. The Ministry of Truth is basically a factory for lies. The fact that Winston's job is to erase inconvenient facts, it makes me think about all the ways information gets filtered or spun now. We might not have a Ministry of Truth, but algorithms and echo chambers do plenty of the heavy lifting.
What gets me is the way independent thought becomes dangerous. They didn't just want people to obey. They wanted to own their minds. And there's a word for that, right? Thought crime.
Yeah, and the scariest part is how quickly that seeps in. People start censoring themselves, never daring to voice doubts even in private. That paranoia, that pressure to conform, it's not so far-fetched if you look at online mobs or cancel culture today. It's a different flavor, but the underlying fear is weirdly similar.
That actually reminds me, I've been thinking about those telescreens and how they never let anyone escape the party's gaze. We have our own telescreens now, and we swipe and scroll like it's nothing. Do you ever feel like we're volunteering for our own surveillance?
All the time! We carry GPS trackers, voice assistants, and cameras everywhere. And it's not just governments. Companies know what we like, what we buy, sometimes even what we say. It's like we swapped privacy for convenience, and we barely noticed the trade.
And then there's language. Orwell's Newspeak always creeped me out, the idea that if you shrink the language, you shrink thought itself. I see hints of that every time I hear a buzzword or a phrase designed to dull the truth.
Absolutely. Take phrases like collateral damage or alternative facts. They're everywhere, softening ugly realities or spinning confusion. The fewer words we have for something, the harder it is to question or resist. That's why 1984's ideas about language and control feel so urgent right now.
Funny you say that, because what really gets under my skin is the idea of doublethink, believing two conflicting things at once, and somehow accepting both. I see it all the time these days, especially in politics or advertising. Why do you think doublethink is so powerful and so dangerous?
It's unsettling because it makes reality slippery. If you can hold two contradictory ideas and believe both, there's nothing to push back against. It paves the way for control, not just of actions, but of truth itself. And when I see people defending things they know are wrong, I can't help but think of Winston's struggle.
And that final moment, when Winston finally gives in and loves Big Brother, it's heartbreaking. After all his hope, his memories, his tiny rebellions, that total surrender feels like a gut punch. It's not just defeat, it's erasure.
That's why the ending stings so much. It's this bleak reminder that the worst kind of power isn't just over your choices, but your very thoughts and feelings. That moment lingers because it asks, what would it take to break you?
So, as we wrap up, I keep circling back to Orwell's warning. He wasn't just spinning a scary yarn, he was challenging us to watch for the cracks, to ask uncomfortable questions about freedom and truth. What's your biggest takeaway from 1984?
For me, it's a call to vigilance. The dangers Orwell described don't appear all at once, they creep in, disguised as convenience or safety. Staying awake to that, questioning what we're told, and valuing our ability to think for ourselves, that's the real lesson. It's not always easy, but it matters.
Couldn't agree more. The fight for truth and freedom isn't a one-time thing. It's something we have to keep doing, every day. Hey, if 1984 spooked you as much as it did us, let us know. Share your thoughts, your favorite moments, or even what made you angry.
And don't forget, every time we question, every time we demand better, big or small, we're resisting. That's a little bit of hope, I think, tucked into even the darkest stories.